The Burger King kitchen was a symphony of grease. The hustle and bustle of the kitchen created a chaotic harmony, each employee moving in a well-rehearsed dance despite the stress etched on their faces. The clatter of utensils, the sizzle of the grill, and the hum of the fryers combined into a cacophony that was both overwhelming and strangely rhythmic. The air was thick with it. Grease hung in the atmosphere like an invisible fog, making the very act of breathing feel heavy and laborious. It was as if the air itself was saturated with the essence of fast food, a constant reminder of the environment we were entrenched in. It clung to everything, a greasy film on every surface. The smell was inescapable. No matter how much we cleaned, the grease always found a way to return, coating countertops, floors, and even our skin. It was a persistent presence, a silent testament to the nature of our work, a heady mix of frying meat, onions, and despair. The aroma was potent, a blend of sizzling beef patties and caramelizing onions, mingling with the underlying scent of exhaustion and resignation. It was a smell that clung to our clothes and hair, following us home long after our shifts had ended. The grill hissed and spat, an angry beast demanding constant attention. Each sizzle was a reminder of the relentless pace we had to maintain, the grill's demands never ceasing. It was a temperamental creature, requiring skill and vigilance to keep it in check. Orders clanged out from above, an incessant metallic rhythm. The speakers overhead barked out commands, a never-ending stream of numbers and items that dictated our every move. It was a relentless symphony, each order a note in the unending composition of our day. My hands moved automatically, assembling burgers with a practiced boredom. Pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. The motions were ingrained in my muscle memory, each step performed with mechanical precision. There was no need for thought, only the repetition of the same actions over and over. The same dance, over and over. Each burger was a step in the routine, a part of the endless cycle that defined our shifts. The monotony was numbing, a constant reminder of the unchanging nature of our work. Each burger identical to the last, a testament to mindless conformity. They were lined up in neat rows, each one a clone of the one before it. It was a visual representation of the uniformity that pervaded our tasks, a symbol of the lack of individuality in our roles. I was a cog in the machine, another nameless face in the fast food army. We were all part of the same faceless collective, our identities blurred by the sameness of our tasks. It was a dehumanizing experience, reducing us to mere components in the larger mechanism of the fast food industry. Yet, amidst the grease and monotony, there was a strange sense of camaraderie, a shared understanding of the grind we all endured. Time blurred. Minutes felt like hours. Hours felt like days. I had been in this greasy purgatory for an eternity, or at least it felt like it. My feet ached, my back screamed for mercy. My mind was numb, lulled into a stupor by the monotony. I had dreamt of escape, of course. Who hasn't, trapped in this greasy hellhole? But dreams were for the naive. Reality was this: the relentless sizzle of the grill, the endless stream of orders, the crushing weight of boredom. Then, a splash of green caught my eye. It was like a breath of fresh air in a room filled with the heavy scent of fried food and oil. The green was so vibrant, so alive, it almost seemed to glow under the harsh kitchen lights. A mountain of freshly chopped lettuce, crisp and cool, sat on the counter. Each leaf was meticulously cut, each piece a testament to the care and precision that went into its preparation. It was a stark contrast to the chaos and mess that usually defined the kitchen. It was an oasis in this desert of grease, a beacon of freshness in this stale air. The lettuce seemed to promise something more, something better, than the usual fare of burgers and fries. It was a glimpse of what could be, a tantalizing hint of a different kind of meal. I had never really looked at the lettuce before. It was always just there, a background player in the drama of fast food. But now, it demanded my attention, its green leaves almost begging to be noticed. It was just another ingredient, another component in the burger assembly line. But today, it seemed to stand out, to assert its presence in a way it never had before. It was as if the lettuce was trying to tell me something, to communicate a message that I had been too busy to hear. But today, it was different. Today, it was more than just a topping. It was a symbol of something greater, something purer. It represented a break from the norm, a chance to experience something new and exciting. Today, it was a symbol of freshness, of health, of a different way of living. It was a reminder that there was more to life than the greasy, unhealthy food that surrounded me. A crazy thought entered my head, a dangerous, forbidden thought. What if I could step into that world, even if just for a moment? What if I could leave behind the grease and the grime and immerse myself in the cool, crisp freshness of the lettuce? I could step into the lettuce just for a moment, just to feel something different, something other than the greasy floor beneath my feet. It was a wild idea, but it was also incredibly tempting. Just to feel something different, something other than the greasy floor beneath my feet. The thought of the cool, crisp leaves against my skin was almost intoxicating. It was a forbidden pleasure, a secret indulgence that no one else would understand. But in that moment, it was all I could think about. The thought, once planted, grew with alarming speed. It was insane, I knew that. A fireable offense for sure. But the allure of the forbidden, the promise of a brief escape from the monotony, was too strong to resist. I looked around. Nobody was watching. With a deep breath, I took the plunge. The lettuce was cool and crisp beneath my feet, a welcome change from the greasy floor. A wave of exhilaration washed over me. I had done it. I had crossed the line. I pulled out my phone and snapped a picture, a memento of my rebellion, my own personal Everest. Later that night, in the bleak solitude of my apartment, I posted the picture online. Just a lark, a way to share my little act of defiance with the world. I didn't expect much, maybe a few likes from my equally bored friends. I went to bed, exhausted but strangely exhilarated. I woke up to chaos. My phone was buzzing non-stop. Notifications poured in, each ping a hammer blow to my sleep-deprived brain. The picture, my picture, was everywhere. Shared, retweeted, commented on. It had gone viral. The manager summoned me the next day. A man I barely knew, his name tag reading Bob, though I doubted that was his real name. His face was pale, his hair slicked back with an unhealthy amount of gel. He wore a cheap suit that strained at the seams, as if he had outgrown it long ago. "You've caused quite a stir," he said, his voice trembling with suppressed rage. He held up his phone, my picture staring back at me from the screen. "This is a PR nightmare." Section 7. 15 minutes of shame. The next few hours were a blur of shame and disbelief. It felt like the world had turned upside down in an instant. One moment, I was just another anonymous fast food worker, and the next, I was the center of a scandal that seemed to grow larger by the second. The local news picked up the story, then the national. It was as if the entire country was suddenly interested in my moment of indiscretion. News anchors debated the implications, and pundits weighed in with their opinions. My face, contorted in a grimace of fleeting joy as I stood on that bed of lettuce, became a meme. It spread like wildfire across social media, shared and reshared by people who found humor in my humiliation. A symbol of fast food worker despair. I became the poster child for everything that could go wrong in the fast food industry. A cautionary tale for employees everywhere. A cautionary tale of what happens when you give in to your baser instincts. People dissected my actions, trying to understand what could drive someone to such a moment of madness. They didn't know the pressures, the monotony, the sheer boredom that sometimes led to poor decisions. My phone exploded with calls from news outlets, talk shows, even some foreign journalists. Everyone wanted an interview, a soundbite, a piece of the story that had captivated the nation. Everyone wanted a piece of the Burger King lettuce boy. The nickname stuck, and it seemed like there was no escaping it. My identity was reduced to that one foolish act. My 15 minutes of fame tasted like shame, seasoned with a heavy dose of regret. I couldn't help but wonder how long it would take for this to blow over, or if it ever would. The internet has a long memory, and I feared this would follow me forever. Social media was a mixed bag. Some people ridiculed me, calling me names and making jokes at my expense. Others offered words of support, understanding that everyone makes mistakes. But the negative comments always seemed to outweigh the positive. My family and friends were shocked. They couldn't believe that I had become the subject of such widespread attention. They tried to be supportive, but I could see the disappointment in their eyes. At work, the consequences were immediate. I was suspended pending an investigation, and it was clear that my job was hanging by a thread. My coworkers avoided me, not wanting to be associated with the scandal. The future felt uncertain. I didn't know if I would be able to find another job, or if this incident would haunt me for the rest of my life. The weight of my actions pressed down on me, and I struggled to see a way forward. In the quiet moments, I reflected on what had happened. I realized that I had learned a hard lesson about the power of the internet and the importance of thinking before acting. It was a painful experience, but one that I hoped would make me a better person in the long run. Section 8. Blacklisted. I was fired, of course, without any warning. My manager, Bob, with a look of grim satisfaction, handed me a cardboard box to collect my things. "Don't let the door hit you on the way out," he said, his voice devoid of any emotion or sympathy. Finding another job was impossible, a never-ending struggle. Who wants to hire the lettuce boy, the infamous one? I was a walking health hazard, a PR disaster waiting to happen, a liability. Job applications were met with thinly veiled disgust, followed by polite but firm rejections every single time. Section 9. Life beyond the broiler. I drifted for a while, lost and uncertain. The greasy smell of the Burger King kitchen, once so repulsive, now held a strange allure. It was a reminder of a simpler time, a time before the lettuce incident, a time when my biggest worry was whether or not I could sneak an extra burger during my break. Eventually, I found work. Not glamorous, but honest. Each day, I woke up with a sense of gratitude, a profound appreciation for the dignity of work, no matter how humble. Section 10. Let us pray. The lettuce incident, once a source of shame, became a strange badge of honor. A reminder that even in the most mundane of existences, a spark of rebellion can ignite. A testament to the human spirit's need for something more, something beyond the grease and the grime. And every time I see a salad, I offer a silent prayer. Not for myself, but for all the lettuce out there, standing silently in the face of greasy oppression. Let us pray they never know the feeling of a size 13 work boot crushing their delicate leaves.